Your spiritual eyes are still closed, and it's not by chance. Something is making sure you don't see. And the dangerous part is, most people don't even realize it's happening to them. You've been praying, you've been seeking, but something still feels blocked. Like you should be seeing more, but you're not. What you're feeling is not random. There are things that can block your spiritual sight, even when you're doing everything right. And most people think it's just part of growth, or that maybe God is silent. But what if that's not true? What if something is actually standing in the way, making sure you don't see what you're supposed to see? Because once your eyes open, everything changes. You start noticing certain patterns. You pray, but you still feel spiritually dull. You read, but nothing really opens up. You have dreams, but they don't make sense, or you wake up and forget everything. And sometimes, you just feel confused, like you should understand more, like you should be seeing something, but it's just not clicking. And after a while you start blaming yourself. You think maybe your faith is weak, or maybe you're doing something wrong. But the truth is, you're not blind. Something is covering your sight, and this is where it gets serious. Because this isn't always just a phase, or something you'll grow out of. Sometimes, it's interference. Not everything that blocks you is natural. Some things are designed to keep you from seeing, to keep you confused, to keep you delayed, to keep you disconnected. And the reason is simple. Once you begin to see clearly, you can't be controlled the same way. You start to recognize things, you start to discern, you start to move differently. And that's exactly what certain systems don't want. So instead of attacking you directly, they keep your eyes closed. And this is not something I'm saying lightly, because from inside that world, one of the easiest ways to keep a person powerless is to keep them spiritually blind. Not blind in the physical sense, but blind where it matters most. Blind to what is really happening around them. Blind to the patterns. Blind to the attacks. Blind to the doors they keep opening without knowing it. A lot of people think spiritual blindness means total darkness. But that's not always how it works. Sometimes you can pray. Sometimes you can worship. Sometimes you can even feel hungry for God, and still have areas where your sight is being suppressed. And that is what makes it dangerous. Because if a person doesn't know something is blocking them, they will keep treating it like a normal struggle. They will keep blaming themselves. They will keep adjusting to a limitation that was never meant to stay in their life. And in many cases, that blindness is not random. It is reinforced, it is maintained, it is fed through confusion, through compromise, through spiritual contamination, through repeated exposure to things that dull your discernment little by little. So by the time many people realize something is wrong, they've already been living under it for a long time. And this is where the real danger is. Because when your spiritual eyes are closed, you can't fight what you can't see. You start making decisions without full understanding. You walk into situations not knowing what's really behind them. You trust things that are actually working against you. And over time, it shows up as delay. Things not moving, doors closing for no clear reason, repeating the same cycles over and over again. And the frustrating part is, you're trying, you're praying, you're doing your best, but nothing seems to change. Because the issue isn't effort, it's sight. So how do you deal with this? It doesn't start with doing more. It starts with removing what is covering your sight. Because if something is blocking you, adding more on top of it won't fix it. The first step is awareness. You have to stop treating this like a normal struggle and recognize that something needs to be broken. The second step is separation. You need to pay attention to what you are allowing, what you are watching, what you are listening to, what you are engaging with. Because not everything is harmless. Some things slowly dull your discernment without you even realizing it. And the third step is to speak directly against it. Not casually, but intentionally. You don't stay silent when something is working against you. You confront it. You reject it. You break agreement with anything that is keeping your eyes closed. Because once that covering is removed, your sight begins to return. Right now, I want you to do something with me. Don't just listen. Respond. Say this quietly or out loud. Every covering over my spiritual eyes be removed now. Anything that has been blocking my sight, I reject it. I break every agreement that is keeping my eyes closed. I receive clarity. I receive understanding. I receive spiritual sight. Take a moment and just sit in that. Because this is not about doing something complicated. It's about removing what should not be there. And once that begins to lift, you will start to notice the difference. So if you've been wondering why things have felt blocked, why your discernment has felt weak, why you keep sensing that something is off, now you understand. Your spiritual eyes were not just closed, something was helping to keep them closed. But that does not mean it has to stay that way. Once you recognize it, once you stop agreeing with it, once you begin to confront it, things can change. And this is why spiritual sight matters so much. Because when you can finally see clearly, you stop walking blindly into things that were sent to weaken you. You begin to recognize what is God and what is not. You begin to notice patterns sooner. You begin to move with clarity, not confusion. So don't ignore this. Don't brush it aside. If this spoke to you, pay attention to what God begins to show you next. If this message spoke to you, don't keep it to yourself. There are people around you who are struggling with things they don't even understand yet. Share this with someone who needs clarity. And if you want more videos like this, subscribe and stay connected, because there is more you need to see.